Hi, so this is on an imagination of the healing garden. I have had an amazing day today. Um, I made a lot of changes, not really changes. I in May of 2022, I saw something. I saw something very, very specific, and I was so excited about what I saw and what was coming that I quit my job and immediately put everything I had and owned into the healing garden. True story, I really did too. Everything I owned, I just poured into the healing garden. It was very, very difficult. It was a very, very difficult decision. I don't know quite how to. It's a lot. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. I I have these visions, and then I write them out sometimes, or I record them on my recorder, or I blog them. And I've been having a lot more lately. And it's more like deductive reasoning, where you can see the end, and I can see every step from the end to where we are now. I can see every step from point A to point B clearly. And I know if I take out this little step here and just put another one in there, I'll shift it. This is how I see the world. I see the same thing with our subconscious minds, that if we just have this little thing that we just pick it out and we move it, and then the whole thing just shifts. The whole world to me is just a giant telescope, and the lens just needs to be adjusted. And I know exactly how to adjust it. So I just do a couple tweaks, and it just shifts beautifully. That's how I see the mind. That's how I see the mind. And I think the words are very powerful, and they are. They are very powerful. But if you have the skills to deliver and articulate words ever so clearly, that they are undeniably logical, so as to be so clear and precise on its intent, so much as to demand. Thomas Jefferson. I remember hearing those words when I was 15, and I used the words, I want to have the ability to write like that. I wanted to have the ability to communicate like that man. That was one of my earlier manifestations, to be able to articulate myself as clearly as Thomas Jefferson. By this time, I knew I could manifest. So I just made a point of always saying what was on my mind when I wanted something. Unfortunately, that got me into a lot of trouble. But that's energy I don't want to access. And that's really, really what I learned. That when you decide to heal, you're taking up a lot more than just a lot of people don't really know what they're getting into when they decide they want to heal. You think it's just, oh, I'm going to remove this little Band-Aid. And it wasn't until I was almost done with my own healing that I went, son of a bitch, that wasn't healing, that was transformation. And then I got through that. And I found another part of healing. And I can't just, it's extraordinary, the view from where I'm sitting. And I'm trying to communicate it to you. And it's so hard. That's why I write every day and I blog and I do podcasts, is because I'm trying to communicate to you what I found. That I have a formula. That if I just give you the formula, you can do A, B, C and cure your mental illness. And it's checking out. Imagine a world without mental illness. And I'm trying to explain to you that I do have the power to manifest, that I figured it out when I was 5 years old, and that I have been manifesting everything since I was around 5. By the time I was 10, I was dead terrified of making promises because I knew it would soul bond me to them because I manifest. It's not a power anyone should have until they appreciate the fine articulation of words and communication. Do you see the responsibility? So you're all manifesting and you're all trying to step into the vortex, but you haven't even learned the skill of communication yet. And if you can't articulate, if you can't even communicate your manifestation, what makes you think you can handle the power of manifestation itself? Think about it. My daughter wanted to know if I was live. Yes. So I have tried to write things out repeatedly. And every time I try and write something, I just get frustrated and I go, damn it, I didn't quite. And I have several sketches that I've started. Some where it's very teenager-ish, others where it's downright, I'm talking to 5 to 10-year-olds. And then other times I'm talking to doctors. And I'm going, shit, I'm scattered all over the place. My research papers are everywhere. And I'm just going, where the fuck am I going to put all this shit? And a manifestation I set out 6 months ago took place today. And that's really where I've been all day, is I just got one of my manifestations that came through and I was able to go, oh, there it is, I see it. And I was able to plug that belief right in. And the road that I started to build in 1992 lined up perfectly, finally, with the perspective I dreamed in 1992. And I have been looking at this from a distance for over 30 years. And it's right here now. And I'm going, wow. You look a lot more beautiful up close, sweetheart. But that's what manifestation feels like, when you can see it. And it's because you can see it that you can trust it, because you can see it. But you're not seeing it. Oh, what did the Bible say? You see it with your heart. Once you learn how to speak in metaphor, you can just breeze your way through Shakespeare and the Bible. But you have to be able to read and write in metaphor. And not everyone can do that. See, that's my problem. I speak in metaphor. I read fluently metaphor. I can also write fluent in sarcasm. Yeah, I love communication. I passionately adore communication. So I need to figure out how to sync my words into people who don't speak in metaphor. People who don't speak in 3 PhD equivalents of psychology. people who don't speak like they're an author. Because I want to talk to children about this. I want to talk to teenagers about it. And I just see this shift where a few people and then a few more people, and then it just goes, and I see it. And it's going to go fast because it went fast with me. And we're all going to pick it up. It's going to be, you remember that sensation that occurred back in the 80s, the 90s, when those magic eyes first came out? There were people who got it and people who didn't. And the people who got it were like, oh my God, did you see that? And the people who don't get it go, no, I don't. And I remember the day I got it. It was like this whole perspective shift. And there were months, all I did was stare at magic eyes. Because I was training my brain how to shift perspective. That's exactly what you're doing when you're doing a magic eye. You are son of a fucking bitch. You can strengthen the perspective muscle. You can strengthen the perspective muscle, which means if you practice magic eyes, you can get smarter and figure out how to change your perspective. And then you'll be able to sit through my course and boom, 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 you can immediately apply the methods just like I did. My record is 2 hours. Can you beat me? Yeah, 2 hours. I took the Rorschach print perspective and I was able to run my entire system through it. 2 hours. I got rid of codependency. It was extraordinary. Extraordinary. But it was the magic eyes. The magic eyes did something inside of my brain that I was able to memorize shifting perspectives. And that's all I did for years. For like 3 years, all I did when I was a teenager was just play with magic eyes. Every day I practiced until I could master looking at anything and just shifting perspectives. I mastered it by the time I was 18. So yeah, get yourself some magic eyes. Get yourself some magic eyes. But yeah, it's going to go like that. And the more people who practice the magic eyes, the more people are going to be able to see it, who can do it. Now, it doesn't run it through one time and you fix all your mental illnesses. It's think about the one thing you want to fix, and then you think about it, and then it runs through. That's how it's done. You literally think about, okay, I want to get rid of this PTSD trigger, or I want to get rid of PTSD. And then you run through the Rorschach print perspective, the triadic healing, and everything shifts, and you have your new perspective. And then you have to say it again. You have to find the next problem that you have. You basically do a full body scan. You locate your next emotion. That's the messenger from the subconscious mind telling you what it is that you need to do, what you need to feel. And then, well, you tell them. You absolutely tell them. And then all the perspective shifts takes place accordingly. It settles, and then you do the next one. That's what I've created. It's called an alignment. That is what it is. It's an actual alignment of your cognitive core. And it's done through a formula that I invented. Wow, it's really interesting saying it with these words. That I invented a formula that when applied correctly, with conscious awareness, it will immediately shift your beliefs into the exact order of position that it requires so that it will conclude the appropriate perspective that you desire. So in manifestation, you will actually correct your mental illness in a couple hours using just deductive reasoning and dialectical behavioral therapy. That's what I did. I combined dialectical behavioral therapy with Havening meditation and philosophy. I have been worried about saying these words for a very long time because I know it sounds crazy, impossible. It sounds impossible, but it's too logical to not make sense. And I look at it every day and I go over it multiple ways. I go to places around New York City and I people watch and I apply my mental theory over and over and over, and it checks out. And now when I talk to my, I see his movements completely different, so that I know exactly what I need to say to situate perspectives, to get us on the same page of comprehension. That's all we're doing. We're just trying to see each other's, we're just trying to get on the same page. That's it. That's all the relationship is. You're just trying to get back on the same page. Your perspectives need to match. There's been an alignment problem for a while, and the alignment throws off the perspective, and then you're not on the right page anymore. But if you know exactly where the disconnect is on both parties, and you just plug in the right belief systems in the right order, you'll get understanding, comprehension, and patience, and then the whole thing will shift. I say it over and over again, and it's getting easier. And I think that's what I need to do to you, with you, for you, if you'll help me. Just listen to me. Because I'm just going to go this over and over again until it doesn't make sense. And the more I do it, the more it's logical, and the more it tightens up. But if they're followed, you can cure mental illness with it. And I know exactly how. And then I run through that list again. I run through the formula again, and it's checking out. And all I have is my deductive reasoning. And I started whispering it about 3 months ago. I said, I think I found the cure to mental illness. And now I'm loudly going, hey guys, I think I found the cure to mental illness. And in 3 more months, I'm going to be screaming it and proving it. I found the cure to mental illness. I found the cure. And I just keep going over everything. I keep reviewing the formulas. I keep reviewing my documents. I keep reviewing all of it, and the deductive reasoning checks out. I think I found the cure to mental illness. Yeah, I'm certain of it. See, and I feel things like this, and I just want to go to sleep, and I'm exhausted. I've been sleeping a lot these last few days. Like, I always do this whenever I go through a vision mode. I don't manifest items, I manifest solutions. So I know which block next to put down for the path that I want to go. That's how you manifest. You don't manifest the big things in the back. I mean, you see them, but then you just line up the cognitive core with beliefs, and then you just click, 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 click. And then you can just like move and shift beliefs over here until you get, it's no different than just tightening the lens on a telescope. It is exactly like tightening a lens on a telescope. And I'm looking at you and I'm going, well, you're not seeing it clearly because, and I'm just going to like turn this way up, and the whole thing is going to shift. And you're going to be like, I just stepped out of the matrix, because I stepped out of the matrix. And I'm going to tell you, yeah, you did. It's okay though. We're really wizards, and this is a fantasy realm, and we can throw magic around. It's great. So just sit down, take a breather. I'm going to introduce you to the world that you just stepped into, because you're in the matrix. And I'm the first one out. Yeah, I am. I found out what we were.